Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to not your traditional monthly readings. I hope I am going to get time to do the monthly readings this month, but I'm going to do these ones first, and then of course we've got the eclipse coming up and I've got quite a few hours at work, so I'll get out what I can. There's a few things I wanted to do. Now, if you've watched me for a while, you know that I like to use a lot of decks. I always like to test myself. That's why I fairly constantly get new decks. And there's when I used to teach a tarot course, some 20 years ago, I used to say to people, you can use anything for divination, as above, so below, as within, so without. In a holographic universe, everything is contained in a piece of everything else. There's so if you wanted to use cutout photos from OK and Hello magazine, assuming that's a symbolism that you are familiar with and that you're comfortable with, crack on, you do it. So obviously with that sort of thing, you need a symbolic alphabet because you're going to have a limited amount of photos. Now, I've wanted to do, and thanks to the eclipse, I think, has finally given me the courage to do this on YouTube, is I've wanted to do a reading using also Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now, I've never actually played. I've tried to play, but I love the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. Full stop. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, with this amount of cards and more to come, no doubt, because I'll probably start shopping for them now. The worry about a symbolic alphabet is not quite as intense. So, because there's plenty to work with. And I was flicking through them the other night and just like, oh yeah, these will be perfect. It's about time I decided to do it. Now, last night I decided to have a look at YouTube to see if anyone else had done it. And I found a video from a Tony Ziegler who did a video about talking about using the Yu-Gi-Oh cards for divination and then never did another video again. So, has Tony Ziegler been co-opted by the Shadow Games? Now, if you don't know what I mean and you don't know your Yu-Gi-Oh, the whole idea is based that apparently this is an ancient Egyptian tradition where they were basically having astral battles with called the Shadow Games. And so these are supposedly all related to ancient Egyptian gods and what have you. Although they were ancient Egyptian gods that seem to be completely made up for the show, but who cares? What a beautiful image these Shadow Games are. Apart from when they're not, but everything has its good and its bad side. So, assuming that I don't get co-opted by the Shadow Games and whipped away somehow, you will see these videos. But it should be fun. Now, as ever, it's a general reading. General reading rules apply. Do not give away your power to a tarot reader. I should be telling you stuff that you probably already know. As ever, I will say take the reading as a whole or not. I'm going to be using the Celtic cross this time. There's a past and a present in that spread. If the past and the present do not fit, don't try and make it fit. Go and watch your moon, go and watch your rising. In fact, always try to watch your rising, and so you don't have to listen to my blurb a second time. There is a timestamp down in the description to get past it straight to the reading. Now, also down there is a link to a birth chart, two different online birth chart generators if you don't know what your rising sign is, because that's something that if you have your birth time, you need to know it. Now, also down there is the Facebook page for this channel. Now, that's got its own inbox, so if you want to approach me for a personal reading, that's the best way to do it. There is also a link tree there for my email and for my Tumblr and for like all different other Twitter. But seriously, Facebook inbox is the best way to get hold of me. Now, as ever, I would say ask a question prior to the reading, pause the video, think about all the questions that are around you and be aware of all of them. Focus on one of them, but be aware of all of them. Cards will answer what they want. Now I am trying to grow the channel, so thank you to my returning subscribers, and If you are new here, welcome, and feel free to press the subscribe button while you're passing. And also, a like helps each video get seen. And I'm rather hoping, I'm so looking forward to doing these Yu-Gi-Oh readers. Now, there will be a couple of Oracle cards in as well, because I can never resist these. But yeah, that's about it. So like I said, general reading, timing's not absolute. Other people, if they turn up in the reading, I see actions and energies, so maybe I get you and them mixed up. I don't think it happens that often. And nobody, I always say, if it does happen, comment down below, let me know. And nobody has done yet. So yeah, let's crack on. I'll bring up your cards. Okay, Capricorn, well, I've hardly spent any time looking at the cards. I just want to dive into this reading, which rather makes me think there's a sense of urgency for yourself as well. Certainly when we are starting at the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Swords, so there's some form of stress and anxiety. Now, I believe that this is due to information that has come to you, information that, that it felt like it was wise. It was wise to act on, but not wise to act on immediately. With Athena here, if you remember, Athena is the goddess of wisdom and war, so you can turn around and say that Athena is the goddess of strategy or tactical moves. And I have to confess, I've never been completely clear on the whole, the minute details of the difference between tactics and strategy. I know tactics are like in the hour or in the moment, and strategy is the longer term thing. But there's an element here of both. But I think that your strategy has been defined by this information coming in, but it's left you wondering, what tactic am I going to use to bring this strategy about? How am I actually going to put this into operation? Because right at the bottom, what Spirit's brought you is the Hanging Man. So you're left there going, what? Everything's different. Everything's upside down. What am I going to do here? But Spirit has brought this in for you deliberately for you to have a plan, or to forge a plan together. And you need, and I say together because there is the influence of someone else here. But the together bit is also an obstacle, because we have the Hierophant as the card that opposes you, clarified by this solidarity spell card, which indicates to me that whatever you are being called to do by this information that comes in, it's out of the ordinary. It's not the way that you would do things normally, or it's not the way that you and yours would do things, and it's just not the done thing so far. But then again, you haven't had this information to work with so far. So it looks like it's bringing up all sorts of questions, and the confusion that's coming in is trying to help you bring in lots and lots of answers, because there's fears coming up. Typhoeus here, or Typhon, from the Greek mythology deck. Certainly with that Nine of Swords, and the fact that somebody else is bringing in complete and utter, well, I don't want to say complete and utter disaster, but with the Tower card, we know it's foundations being rocked and insufficient structures crumbling and falling. So it could be that there's, with this Fisher card, clarifying it, cracks have appeared, and all of a sudden the previous plans or rules, so I suppose you could say rules are a plan until they don't work. If this happens, the rule is we do this, this and this. Well, that's a plan until it no longer works. But we've got this Harpy's Feather Duster, which spell card destroys all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. So it's almost like by making an accurate plan, you can sweep away the obstacles that are in your way, but you have to overcome this fear. You have to figure it all out. The answers are being given there, but the answers are being given to you by enabling you to ask new questions, which is like when a planet is out of bounds. It's outside of your traditional way of thinking because you thought everything was tickety-boo. You thought everything was going okay, and it was recapturing stuff from the past. The Six of Cups, that you've got that contentment, you've got nostalgia there. But with submersible, let me get my teeth in for this one. Submersible Carrier Aero Shark card. Not easy to say fast. It shows that you had set up this situation that was everything that you wanted to be, and it was abiding by the rules that you wanted, and it was happy, it was content, and then it changed shape and it changed form. And that happiness and contentment remained there for a while, but now this new form is no longer suitable. So you need to try something new again. You need to try a whole different thing again. And you're quite clear on this, King of Swords. There's, especially when you've got the King of Swords here with, from the Angelarium, Givura, representing judgment, or you could say discernment. What is the right way forward? Well, I hope that's why you're probably trying to listen to this. But I think you'll find that those answers will come to you. One way or another, those answers will come to you. And the reason why, I had a real YuGiOh moment. So from the Osset Oracle cards, Egyptian Oracle cards, I drew the Great Pyramid card, which immediately made me think of Yugimoto's Millennium Item necklace, that pyramid thing he wears on a chain around his neck that is actually made of lots of little bits that need to be fit together in a certain way. So especially when I saw, after the Hanging Man being there, it is being laid onto you to puzzle this out and figure this out. But all the information, this Air Knight Parshath, Air Knight Parshath card, rather indicates to me that, with this information that's come through, that is challenging everything and quite possibly giving somebody around you a bit of an almost nervous breakdown. Is like, how do we cope with this? Or they're putting pressure on you to encourage you to have a nervous breakdown, which you're not doing bad at with Nine of Swords and the Typhon here. It's the way of seeing things differently in this confusion and this delay. This delay is fine because the information does demand that you should act, but it also demands that you don't quite act yet. So you've got a bit of breathing space, you've got a bit of figuring out time, and information was going to come through to you that will make you able to slowly piece that Millennium Puzzle, that's what it's called, isn't it? That slowly piece this Millennium Puzzle together. Now, this means Three of Wands, Page of Wands here is turning into the Page of Cups, that you're having a direction, a dream to move forward with, and also that you're going into this space as, well, with a certain amount of humility, because you're going into this space as a learner, I know that this is new, I know that this is new territory, I will preserve my dreams here, but I need to put old issues to rest here. Chewbone, which is like a bit of a zombie dog type thing, that rather is telling me that you can gain some form of support, some form of defense against what is occurring. But defense is the wrong word, because defense implies that you are stopping what is happening. And I want to say protection, so that you roll with what is happening. Because really, do you want to... It looks like there's a choice that you really don't want to make. With this Dark World Dealings card, clarifying the Two of Wands in the Hopes and Fears position, it's almost like there's a sense of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I want to say that that's not true. It's because there is going to be a path to get through this, to get past this. Because to cheer you up, we have Six of Swords as the final outcome card, moving on to a better place. So whatever this place was that you had moved to that is now crumbling, that's the point, it's now crumbling. You need to move on. You need to get to this better space. But this is clarified by Belial, Marquis of Darkness. Now, I haven't read the card. Now as a card, Belial here makes sure that your opponent can only attack this card, which preserves all the others. So there's that symbol of protection again. But I'm also drawn to the idea of Belial in his form as one of the Goetia, who very much trains the magician to examine their boundaries closely and redefine them, whether that means extending them further or drawing them in a bit, whether it means being freer with something and going to like the Uranus side of that Saturn-Uranus square we're in at the moment, or going more to the Saturnian side, no, there is a line I will not cross. Belial doesn't necessarily push you one way or another, but he insists that you examine that line and that you decide whether it is placed in the correct position for you. And he will try and stretch you, and he will try and point out where your boundaries are maybe too loose, so that you need to just be a little bit more disciplined about something. Now, the reason I'm so hopeful about this, because it doesn't sound like an easy situation, but I'm so hopeful about this because we also have, on the bottom of the YuGiOh deck, the Beckoning Light. This is leading you on to a better place, that Six of Swords says. But as I put the thing down, this card moved around and it wanted me to see beige, Vanguard of the Dark World. So you're going into new territory, and you're going into new territory which is unknown. But with Belial, with that Vanguard, with Givora here, with this Air Knight Parshath, bringing you the correct information, you are guided and protected here. But it's up to you to make these decisions and up to you to fit the puzzle together. But I want to say, as much as that information implies some sense of urgency, you do not have to react to that sense of urgency. This is something where you need to take your time, because you've got to wait for the delay. You may be waiting for things to come round to put themselves in the right position, ready for where you're moving on to. You're definitely waiting for the correct pieces of information to be coming through to you to enable you to do that. There isn't a pressure, as much as you might feel the anxiety, there isn't a pressure to say, make this decision now. It is information that has come in that makes you go, I need to make a decision. I need to make a plan. I need to decide how we move forward with this. And you'll get there. But you'll get there as feeling like an emotional newbie, not like the King of Cups who turned up for Sagittarius, who knows exactly where he's going and is okay with it. You know, is like, I am resolved to do this now. The Page of Cups is more sort of, this direction feels better. I don't know what I'm going to encounter on this path, but it's better than the other paths that I can see. So I'm going to go this way, which is a really nice. It's bringing the mystery back into your life a little bit. Well, a lot. Right, so if that means anything to you, Capricorn, do comment down below. Also tell me what you think of these YuGiOh readings, because the more I'm doing of them, and obviously you're number 10, the more I'm really enjoying these. These are a lot of fun. So comment down below, and if the reading is for you, let me know, because it's always nice to know that I'm not just sat waffling to a camera and listening to the sound of my own voice. But yeah, press the like button while you're here, and feel free to subscribe to the channel and join the tribe, which would be greatly appreciated. In the meantime, your monthlies will be out sort of mid-month, because there's the eclipse reasons to come out first as well. Have fun, Capricorn. Good luck with this. There's no need to panic. Cheers.